midst of Durham, North Carolina, Wallace Wade Stadium, and the Virginia Cavaliers, riding a 7-game winning streak in the series, are here and taking the field with their first-year head coach, Tony Elliott. And ACC football is presented by your local Ford dealer. Through the mist and the smoke, here come the Blue Devils with their 3-1 record. And for more on our coaching matchup tonight, let's get right down to the sidelines and Lindsay Rowley.
Thanks, Tom. Well, guys, tonight we have two rookies going head-to-head, and I'm not talking about any of the players on the field, but rather the leader on each sideline. This game features two first-year head coaches, and Virginia's Tony Elliott and Duke's Mike Elko. Now, both coaches coming from big programs. Tony Elliott from Clemson under Dabo Swinney, and Mike Elko from Texas A&M under Jimbo Fisher. I spoke with both coaches earlier this week. I asked Elko and Elliott what they feel they've learned this season as a head coach from game one to now. Coach Elko said he's learned a lot about being back down on the sidelines. Up until his first game with Duke, he spent 13 years up in the booth during games, but now he loves being down on the sidelines and feeling the pulse of the team. Now, Coach Elliott said he learned a lot as far as game management goes and blocking out time during the day to support his coaches the way they need to be supported. And guys, most importantly, Coach Elliott said, I learned why Coach Swinney looks 10 years older than he really is as a head coach.
And that's what happens when all the decisions end with you. Thank you, Lindsay. Tom Wormy, James Bates. So glad to have you with us for ACC football. And as Lindsay referenced, this Virginia team coming off a difficult loss last Friday at Syracuse by just 2 points. And I think Duke, you'd have to say, one of the surprises this season, James, they're 3-1 under Mike Elko.
Yeah, absolutely. Starting with that Syracuse loss for Virginia, the defense continues to ball. Coach John Rosinski, their first-year defensive coordinator, they were embarrassed a lot last year, but they're playing with pride. They held Sean Tucker, one of the best backs in the nation, to 60 yards on 21 carries. Will the offense explode finally? Such high hopes over there, and it's an offense that has averaged or gained at least 420 yards in every game for Kevin Johnson, new offensive coordinator for Duke, and he says that they haven't even exploded yet. Riley Leonard is a fun quarterback to watch. Of course, we've got one in Brennan Armstrong, who hopefully we'll see the old Brennan Armstrong tonight, and both quarterbacks will put on a show, but I really feel like it's going to be an evenly matched battle, and it'll be a fun one to watch for 4 quarters.
Yeah, an important game for both of these teams. Duke playing its first ACC game of the season. Virginia, that game against Syracuse was its first of the ACC season. Here's the weather report from Durham, North Carolina. You saw the mist and the rain. 59 degrees as we kick it off. Light breezes and the humidity 97%. Here in North Carolina, Virginia won the toss, elected to defer. And so the Cavaliers will kick it away to start our football game. These teams have met every year since 1963, and they renew their ACC rivalry tonight. Brendan Farrell kicks it away. Jalen Stinson, the deep man, half a yard deep, he's coming out. Stinson up past the 25-yard line. They will mark him almost to the 27. Officially a 26-yard return for Stinson to start our ball game. And it's Riley Leonard, lucky number 13 in that huddle, James, the starting quarterback for the Duke Blue Devils.
Yeah, absolutely. And he had to go through a battle in the spring and then on into the summer to beat out Jordan Moore, who's now a wide receiver on this Duke offense. And Kevin Johns, the offensive coordinator, told us, we said, hey, when did you know you had a pretty good quarterback? He said, not really until a couple games into this season.
Leads the league in completion percentage. They'll go to the ground up near the 35-yard line with Jalen Coleman on that first down play, and Coleman goes for 7.
Not a bad first snap, a gain of 7 yards, and setting up a nice second down and 3. Anybody that's calling the ball play is a dream for them here in a situation early in this game.
Leonard, the sophomore from Fairhope, Alabama, hands it off again. Second down, produces a first down, and it's Jalen Coleman again for 6 yards. James Jackson made the tackle.
Yeah, and a Jackson that won't be out there in the first half is Nick Jackson. There he is in the second half of the Syracuse loss, ejected for targeting. So the leading tackler, the leader all around of this defense, will have to wait until the third quarter as it carries over in the first 2 quarters here. It's unfortunate, too, as the ball carrier going down late, looked to be trying to keep his head out of there, but that wasn't the case. So Duke electing to go right up the gut first 2 plays.
Leonard pressured. Dumped it off and incomplete on first down from his own 40. Jameer Carter providing the pressure for the Virginia defense.
Yeah, and this is a Duke front that's only given up 4 sacks all year, but they've been going up against the big physical bodies, the Midwesterners, the corn-fed guys of Kansas and of Northwestern. They haven't seen the athleticism that they're going to see up front from guys like Jameer Carter. That'll be an interesting matchup here tonight.
Leonard swings it left. Not a lot happening on the edge for Duke. Pancol made the catch. Anthony Johnson leading the way, and a loss of 2 on the play.
Nice job reacting by Johnson. Watch him get rid of that block. Who wants it more? Anthony Johnson right there, that's for sure. You know, see too many times you see a cornerback just give himself up when they're being blocked. Get out of here. Johnson, a senior from Coconut Creek, Chaminade High School down in the bottom South Florida.
40% on third down for the season for Duke, and they're not going to convert this one. Pancol had the catch, and Jalen Baker was all over him. Loss of 4 and 4th down for the Blue Devils.
Back-to-back good physical plays by these corners for the Hoos. Go make it. Go make it. See it and go make it. You recognize, well, go make that play, and he hangs on for dear life. And Jalen Baker is starting, by the way, for Fentrell Cypress. The transfer from Northwestern, who is unable to go with the sickness here tonight.
Porter Wilson punts it away. Billy Kemp to his left to make the fair catch near the 25-yard line. The punt was 41 yards, and the fair catch from Kemp. Starting quarterback for the Virginia Cavaliers, Brennan Armstrong, the senior James from Shelby, Ohio.
Yeah, meteorologist Tom Wormy earlier gave us that report. And, you know, we thought for a while Armstrong and Leonard as well thought that they wouldn't be throwing a wet ball. It looked like the weather was going to clear out and it was going to be dry all day. But if Brennan Armstrong's to get back on track,
Ball's on the turf. Armstrong scoops it up. It's going to be a loss. He tried to shovel that one to Billy Kemp, and that ball ended up on the grass.
Billy Kemp's been out for the last 2 weeks, trying to get him back and get involved. Here's another look at it, and that's a forward pass, so it's going to be an incomplete pass, and it'll be 2nd down and 10. So lucky there for Virginia, but the problem is just that, the sloppiness that's just uncharacteristic of these senior leaders, these vets on this offensive side of the ball. Too many drops, too many turnovers, too many penalties. They've just got to clean that stuff up, and that's not how you want to start it when you're trying to come out of a funk on play number 1.
Kemp. Maybe just short of the marker up near the 35-yard line. Jalen Stinson forcing Kemp out of bounds. 9 yards on the play for the Cavaliers.
Yeah. Armstrong is really going to be glad to have Kemp back. Look at Thompson blocking down the field. An excellent job to help spring him, and Kemp's fired up. He missed all of spring, had off-season surgery, and then a sickness the last 2 weeks kept him out. Good to have number 4 back, and especially in third down type situations. Let's see where they go right here. 3rd and very short.
In the loss at Syracuse, they were 3 for 12 on 3rd down. They're going to get this one, Paris Jones, and they get 8 yards past the 40-yard line up to the 42. It's been a struggle on 3rd down, James. 31% for the season. That's 13th in the conference for Virginia on 3rd.
It has been awful. 3 of 12 at Syracuse. Only 1 of 13 on 3rd down at Illinois in the loss. On the road, they have not had any luck at all on 3rd downs.
Over the middle and complete. Grant Mish, 6 yards to the tight end. Senior from Sterling, Virginia, from Armstrong.
Nice, easy pitch and catch right there from Armstrong to his tight end, just hooking it up right there in the middle of that Blue Devil defense. Nice protection up front for Brennan Armstrong. 2nd down and medium.
He was 19 of 38 for just 138 yards. 1 TD pass, 1 interception of the game last Friday against Syracuse. Billy Kemp is toppled in a loss of 1. Brandon Johnson on the play for Duke. That is Kemp, slow to get up.
but he's limping and finally will take a seat. Gosh.
So we'll step aside for just a moment and check on the status of Billy Kemp when we come back.
For 5-star backyards, Yellowwood brand pressure-treated pine. If it doesn't have this yellow tag, you don't want it.
Baby, you see, you're so right for me, and I'm right for you. I love the things you do, like sweet tasting wine. Your lips are so divine. Your loving turns me on. My lonely days are gone. That's why I'm never gonna let you go. Never gonna let you go. Babe, I'm never gonna let you go. No, no, never gonna let you go. Baby, never gonna let you go. Never gonna let you go. Babe, I'm never gonna.
Here you go.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Never gonna let you go.
Bally Sports South, the network of your favorite teams. ACC football is brought to you by your local Ford dealer. The Works Nitro, available at worksnitro.com. And Wrangler, for the ride of life.
Back here at Durham, Billy Kemp was down momentarily for the Cavaliers. Illness has kept him out of 2 games this season.
Yeah, and this, it looks like he gets the left ankle rolled a little bit and then lands funky on the right, able to get up and get off. So hopefully he'll come out of that tent able to dry up a little bit and be ready to get back in the game for this Wahoo offense. Here comes another, there's a second down attempt. The yard box says 3rd down. It's 3rd and 5 is what we have on the monitor. So yeah, it's a 3rd down. 3rd down and 5. Here we go.
Raindrops hitting that football. We'll see how it affects things as we move forward in this evening game from Durham. Armstrong with some time to operate. That's first down yardage. He hit Wicks, crossing 7 yards on the play to Dontavian Wicks. At a first down, Virginia.
Gotta find a way to get to him. Look at this hurry up. Quick over the ball and ready to move. Quick snap.
Armstrong, deep ball, inside the 10 and through the hands of Lavelle Davis Jr. All-out dive to try to make the grab.
All 6'7" of number 1 laying out here. Here's on the quick snap after the chains move. And again, back-to-back plays, plenty of protection, a little bit late pressure, but then a beautifully thrown football by Davis. And watch out, ACC. Brennan Armstrong trying to get his groove back here a little bit here in Durham, North Carolina.
Armstrong got to take off. Diving inside the 40-yard line. Anthony Nelson on the tackle for Duke. 7 yards on the rush by Brennan Armstrong.
Confidence is one of the great strengths of this quarterback. He knows that he can bring this team back. He's had so many times, games on the line. He says to his teammates, this will be fun. Put it on my back. That confidence has been rattled a little bit here lately.
2 for 2 on 3rd down prior to that play. It's incomplete, looking for Thompson.
Thompson's looking for a flag, and I'm not so sure that I disagree with that, because he was a little bit early, that defensive back, and Keaton Thompson felt like he was hit before the ball got there. No flag, though, so it's 4th down. And Tony Elliott's team over the rock right here, looking like they're pushing it, trying to go for it.
3 for 8 on the season on 4th down. 4th and about 3, and Armstrong, little kick inside the 20. And down near the 12-yard line for Virginia. So Armstrong doing the kicking duties and trying to pin Duke deep after the 26-yard punt.
After Carol had surgery, she didn't need a nursing home. She needed a place to recover. At Pruitt Health, she found an expert team to guide her through a personalized care plan that helped her regain her strength and rehabilitate her body, all so she could get back to her family, back to her home, and back to her life.
At Pruitt Health, our skilled nursing centers have been helping patients get back to their lives for over 50 years. Come see how we can help you too.
All right, Mr. Wolf, you're all set. Complete perimeter protection installed and monitored 24/7.
No matter who you root for, we can all identify with the best in smart home security. Get a Video Doorbell Pro and an outdoor camera with Perimeter Alert for free during our fall savings event. CPI Security. Identify yourself.
Just the two of us. We can make it if we try. Just the two of us. Just the two of us.
The LG wash.
And they picked up 17.
Well, how's that for cool and calm by Leonard? He knows he's going to have pressure. He's just got to go airborne and dump it off with the blitzer there unblocked in his face. And he dumps it off and moves those chains.
Up the middle with Waters. Short gain as we tick down to 8 minutes to go in our first quarter. 3 yards for Waters. Riley Leonard, the quarterback for Duke. 24 of 35, James, and that loss last Saturday at Kansas for 324 yards and a TD pass. He also ran it 10 times for 54 yards.
Yeah, he can move. He can use his feet. He's very accurate through the air. Only 2 interceptions. Those are the only 2 turnovers for this Duke offense this season.
That was a 35-27 loss on the road at Kansas. They put up 463 yards of total offense, and they'll add to the total with Waters. Virginia side of the 50, and he rumbles for 12. There is a penalty marker down.
I mean, these big guys up front, led by Jacob Monk, the center, the Dirty Devils, as they call themselves, the Mud Devils more like it tonight with all the rain. They're very active and taking it through that whistle, and perhaps maybe even drawing a flag here, like a late push.
After the play, personal foul, unnecessary roughness, defense, number 94, 15-yard penalty, first down.
So the penalty on Faumui, and watch Andre Harris really sell this right there in the middle. I mean, he does take a shot with the theatrics. The transfer from Maryland, and Faumui is upset. It's, you know, like I said, though, they're going through the whistle. And that can be a little bit frustrating when a team's running on you, having some success.
Coleman, flag out. And then a couple of players get tangled up behind the play near the 40. Jackson on the tackle for Virginia. That's Ben Smiley. Chance Lytle. He's the guy who lost his helmet. He's probably going to have to come out for a snap, although he's remaining in there.
Well, unless the flag.
Personal foul, hands to the face.
There you go.
Defense, number 10. 15-yard penalty, first down.
Jeff Heiser is our referee tonight with the official word on the play.
And most of you have heard it a few times, but you see so many times in college football, a player loses his helmet. He's got to leave for a play, but not if there's a penalty attached to it. Take it a step further, if it was somebody that you felt like you just had to have in there, you could burn a timeout, say late in the game, and it's your quarterback and you need him in there. You could use a timeout, buy him back in there. No need for that here as he gets to stay.
Duke, 5th in red zone offense at the goal line. The pass is caught for the touchdown. Jalen Calhoun, 19 yards from Riley Leonard. And the Blue Devils are on the board.
Nice protection for Leonard standing in there, a little pump, and then he's got to drop it in there before the safety can get there. He's got to have a little touch, but enough rope on it to make sure the safety doesn't have enough time, and Sanker can't get there. And we've got a little bit of confusion here. I'm not sure what's going on.
After the play, unsportsmanlike conduct against the offense, number 5 for spinning the ball. That 15-yard penalty assessed on the succeeding kickoff.
Second TD grab of the season for Calhoun, who got flagged for the celebration after the play. Riley Leonard, touchdown pass, number 7 on the year for the sophomore. Charlie Ham for the extra point.
You know, every time I see that name Calhoun, it reminds me of the LL Cool J lyrics. Hitting hard like haystacks Calhoun, calling me a sucker boy, you're pushing a broom. I love that line. Don't you, Tom?
Oh, yes.
CMAX presents The Cycle of Saving.
At first, 6:55 to go in the first quarter. They've got the early 7-0 lead against Virginia. That's Calhoun. He took a tumble, then he spun the ball, and that was the flag right there. Although the combination of Leonard and Calhoun productive once again, Lindsay.
That's right, Tom. An unfortunate penalty there by Calhoun. However, Leonard and Calhoun have not only connected just tonight, but they've been connecting all season long. I spoke with Jalen Calhoun earlier this week, and he told me how much he enjoys having Riley as his quarterback because he takes control of the offenses and is a great communicator. Jalen said the chemistry between the two has grown a lot because they often stay after practice and throw together. They also watch film together in order to create a game day strategy. Guys?
Yeah, Lindsay, I mean, how can you not love number 13? He came into our meeting yesterday, and he just a happy guy, big smile on his face, everybody's friend, and you can see where this team rallies around him. It's, you know, even Jordan Moore, who was in the competition with him during two-a-days in the offseason. Riley said, you know, we're supposed to be, you know, at each other's throats, kind of like enemies, but we couldn't help them. I mean, we became best friends. They've got a great connection. Eli Pankel's another one. So all of these receivers, of course, they like getting the football from him, but I think they really appreciate his leadership ability and his positive energy.
Starling is deep. Ham will kick it away. Duke now leads its opponents 59-7 in the first quarter of this season. And a big reason why they are 3-1 coming into this game.
A big reason why this is a Virginia team that isn't 3-1 as well coming in, and they didn't get the win last week, is mistakes and penalties like last week. 2 penalties to aid that drive.
There were 30 yards of penalties against Virginia. Return from Jones. Up near the 40-yard line. Quality field position. 14 yards on a return. So Rivers on the hit, special teams for Duke, and Armstrong leads them out now, trailing 7-0.
Not only with good field position, but with some fire from Jones. I mean, how many shots did he take? And just kept bouncing around like a ping pong ball and got him up there near the 40-yard line to start this drive.
The running. Xavier Brown. That's 3 yards for Brown, the freshman from Lexington, Kentucky. He, Paris Jones, and Mike Hollins will do the majority of the rushing for Virginia. Virginia 8th in the conference to start the night, averaging 170 yards on the ground per game. Surprisingly, 13th in the conference, James, through the air. That's Keaton Thompson making the catch. A couple of yards short of midfield and a first down. There's 4 yards on the play.
Nice job here by Keaton. He's just going to cut it right back up against the grain with this defense flowing and get me what you can. North and south, don't dance around. Get me what you can. Puts them in a good position here to convert for the 3rd time in 4 tries on 3rd down.
Diving into Duke territory. Brown has it. 4 yards, and the chains are going to move.
Tom, I like this Xavier Brown out of Lexington, Kentucky. Just a freshman. You haven't seen him a lot. It's been a lot of the Paris Jones show. But that low pad level, and he's falling forward. He hits that good burst, hits that line hard, and they're doing a good job of clearing the way for him.
Brown had 18 carries coming into the night. Perhaps more importantly, had only lost 2 yards in all of those carries. He just picked up the first down for Armstrong. He'll hand it off again. This is Brown, and he's dropped for a loss. 5-yard loss. Anthony Nelson had him around the ankles.
Duke has done a good job with the hands, avoiding blockers, and I don't think there's anybody even that got a hand on 93, the transfer from Harvard out of Tampa Jesuit High School. Anthony Nelson, just when Virginia had a lot of things going forward, pushes him back the other way for a loss of 5.
2nd and 15. Trying to get some on the ground, a stumbling Brown. Up past midfield, he got 5. Brown getting some burn here in the first quarter, James.
Yes, sir. Here comes Mike Hollins now to give him a little bit of a rest. But a good effort there on a few carries by the youngster out of Lexington, Kentucky. But here, you got that loss mixed in there, and you know, it's not a penalty, which a lot of times you'll drop them backwards and be momentum killers, but it's a mistake nonetheless with the guy not being blocked. So now you've got a 3rd down and 10. They'll bring 3.
3 for 4 on 3rd down. The left-hander has it batted down. Shaka Hayward, the senior for the Blue Devils.
Mike Elko and the Devils needed a big performance out of guys like Shaka Hayward tonight. Mausi unable to go. And a good job here. I'm not going to get to the quarterback. Mirror the quarterback. Mirror technique. That ball goes back, hands go up. You don't want to leave your feet. Never against a guy like Brennan Armstrong. He'll pull it down and go. Does a great job staying on his feet, putting those hands up, swatting it away, and forcing a punt.
Hayward was the leading tackler last season for Duke with 98 stops. Makes the play on 3rd down. Sparks is going to punt it away. Calhoun is deep. Whistle stops play.
First charge timeout. Virginia. 30 seconds.
So with 3:50 to go in the first quarter, Tony Elliott's team trailing 7-0, expending its first timeout. As we play in the mist and rain here in Durham. And as we all know, Hurricane Ian ravaged our neighbors in Southwest Florida, down in South Carolina as well. Here in the Carolinas also, the Red Cross is on the scene, providing shelter, food, comfort, and support. If you'd like to help with disaster relief, visit redcross.org or text IAN, I-A-N, to 90999 to donate $10.
Yeah, we're thinking about you. It just hurts to see all the damage that's going on down there, but everybody's going through.
Oh, it's blocked. Duke has it at the 42. Special teams for the Blue Devils.
Third phase of the game wasn't great in the Carrier Dome for Virginia and the 2-point loss. Big kickoff return. Here they get a punt blocked, and this is after they have to use a timeout because not everybody's on the same page. You saw how upset Tony Elliott was while you were doing that read. Ryan Smith got back there and blocks it for the Duke Blue Devils. Gets a pat on the back.
Number 40 made the play on special teams with a block, and they give it to Coleman, and he barrels his way up the middle of the field for 8 yards to the 50. He'll spot that ball on the Virginia side of the 50. 3:30 to go in our first quarter. 5 of 6 through the air for Riley Leonard. 36 yards and a touchdown pass to Jalen Calhoun. 19 yards earlier in the quarter. His 7th of the season. Standing tall, delivering, incomplete near the 10. Jordan Moore couldn't catch up with it. Jonas Sanker going stride for stride and trying to catch up with Moore defensively.
Yeah, Leonard to Moore, that's They've got 20 catches coming into this game that they've teamed up on, and 3 touchdowns for Moore. Moore was the one that was in that quarterback battle all the way through, and then when it was Riley Leonard's show, he just said to the coaching staff, hey, I was a receiver in high school. How can I help this team? Leonard loves to get the ball to number 6. A little bit too far on that one, though.
Just 0 for 1 so far on the 3rd down. They're going to get this one, though. Jordan Waters slams his way down close to the 45-yard line.
And Hunter Stewart is a big dude, 245 pounds. Jordan Waters is 214, goes lower, though, and drives for the 1st down.
Much less on this time. Jameer Carter, first man there for Virginia. He'll get a yard.
Jameer Carter, one of those, we talked about the key to the game, the storm surge, the surge of this defensive front, the penetration. We've already seen number 90, Jameer Carter, in that backfield a couple times to disrupt this offense here tonight.
Leonard looking left, evacuates the pocket, look at him go. Up the middle of the field, down to the 25 and sliding. Anthony Johnson forced him down 17 yards. Leonard on the rush.
Nice job by the young quarterback. Pocket collapses, tuck it, protect that football, and go get a few more, and then get down and live to play another down. Showing you he can run. He really good at track back home at Fairhope High School on the Gulf of Mexico in Alabama, but at all the field events, not so much with all the running events.
17 yards on the previous play. This is near the 23-yard line, and spitting out is Calhoun. We got 6 on the pass play. There is a flag.
Personal foul, roughing the passer, defense, number 91, 15-yard penalty, 1st down.
Tom, look at Tony Ellie just throwing his hands up. That is 3 now, 3 15-yard penalties on that 87-yard drive. Last time they had the football, Duke, 30 yards were the penalties, as you mentioned. And here's another 15-yarder to aid this drive. Here's another look at it. And it's the hand to the face. You know, you've got to be smarter and you've got to pull up. Your hand to the face, and when those legs are in the dirt, they protect the quarterback's legs a lot now too.
Coleman with Duke back in the red zone. Works his way down to the 6-yard line. He got 5. Last time in the red zone, the 19-yard TD pass. Leonard to Calhoun to open the scoring. Approaching a minute to play in our 1st quarter. So glad that you're with us. And the Blue Devils are in the CPI red zone. 12 red zone touchdowns this season. With that TD pass earlier in the quarter. Trying to do it on the ground. Down to the 2 for Coleman. Sanker made the stop, 4 yards on the play.
You know, we've seen our crew here, our production crew, quite a bit of a nice 1-2 punch over in Raleigh, the NC State running backs, and they've got one here in Durham as well. From Waters to Coleman. Coleman maybe a little bit faster of the 2. But they feed off of each other, and when you have that healthy competition, and it helps out a football team so much. Here we go.
Blue Devils can get a 1st down. It's 3rd and 1 officially. Leonard still has the football, and he takes it into the end zone for the touchdown.
Gosh, unfortunate for Virginia. Look at the surge right there. And then hat on a hat, blocking on the outside just to make sure. And that's a good job of those receivers, the guys out on the edge, not taking the snap off, thinking, hey, he's going to sneak it up the middle. Let me just lope through this one and catch my breath. If they're not on those bodies, it's perhaps a stop before he gets to the line.
3rd rushing touchdown of the season. Riley Leonard takes it in from 2 yards away.
Nice job to stuff them there in the middle, but then the edge just collapses. And Riley Leonard, vision, nothing's there. Keep those legs pumping and go over and celebrate with your buddies on the Blue Devil sidelines. And hey, let's not forget, this game last year, you mentioned the 7 in a row by Virginia. How about a 48-0 final by these Cavaliers last year? It wasn't even close and not competitive for Duke. And now the tables have turned early in this game. A lot of football to be played, but it's 14-0 just like that with 13 seconds remaining in the first quarter.
That game last year was in Charlottesville. In fact, 5 of the last 7 victories for the Cavaliers in the series have been at home at Scott Stadium. They're in a hole, 14-0. Leonard's teammate Jalen Coleman behind him, James, telling him which way to go, giving him a little bit of an assist. Everybody needs a push in the right direction every once in a while. Starling. 20. Starling leaps over a tackler at the 35. Might have been Ham trying to make the play. Did the ball come out? Indication is that Duke has the football.
Wow. Just when you feel like you got something going your way, look at the athleticism, and while he's in the air, he just loses the football. I mean, a couple returns here for Virginia. Good blocking and good hard running, but the most important thing in this game is protecting that football. We've already seen a punt block by Mike Elko's team, and here's a turnover. This is a team in Duke. They've been taking care of the ball, and they've been forcing turnovers better than anybody in the ACC. Last year, they were last in the league in turnover margin. Right now, they're first coming in, and they're adding to it.
Terry Moore covered that one for Duke. It was Charlie Hand going for the tackle. And Starling had to go leap in the air, and he lost the handle on the way down. A passing TD and a rushing TD from Riley Leonard. 14-0 Duke. We'll start the second when we come back to Durham in just a moment.
I'm having one of those days where everything feels good. I'm feeling better than the weather suggested I could.
When you need to find a new roommate, there's a route for that. Get 1.9% APR for 36 months on a new 2022 Toyota RAV4. Toyota, let's go places.
All right, team. We got a big project coming up. And it all starts with ordering promotional products.
I'm on it.
4imprint makes it easy to get the logoed products you're looking for. The latest in apparel, drinkware, bags, high-tech items, and more. You can be certain of getting it right at 4imprint.com.
Come on out. I'm on it.
4imprint, for certain.
Well, and take a look right down there at those penalties. We don't see anything about the turnover or the punt block on there, but penalties. Unfortunately for Virginia, 3 penalties, 42 yards to aid 2 touchdown runs, and it's 14-0, just like that.
Waters. James Jackson on the tackle, 2 yards.
Well, after that fumble, during our break, this is the scene over on the Virginia sidelines. Tony Elliott brought the entire sideline. Every trainer, every equipment manager, everybody on that team, and just gave it to him. This is a team, a very talented team that he has inherited. It's got to be so frustrating. And they've pressed at times, like Starling right there, trying to do too much. Billy Kemp comes to mind against Illinois, fumbling a punt return into the end zone against Illinois. And here's a nice-looking hard run by Riley Leonard, who scraps his way up near the first down marker. But not enough, so it's a 4th down.
He got 6 on the run. He was forced to leave the pocket by the pressure from Virginia.
Yeah, and great escapability there. One guy coming over the top, and he was right for the picking right there with the second guy, but able to score him out and get some positive yardage. Here's a 4th down and short.
Gotta go, James. 4 of 6 on 4th down for the season. Leonard puts on the brakes, hits his man Moore. First down, Duke.
That's his guy. And I like the play call by offensive coordinator Kevin Johns. Hey, trusting the sophomore, wet ball. That's all right. Puts on the brakes and delivers a strike. Fresh set of downs for the guys in blue.
Waters the back to the left of Leonard. Touch over the middle. Moore. Taken out of bounds. 13-yard line. Jalen Baker made the tackle. First down, Duke.
Watch the job up front. 4 guys coming, and nobody even sniffs. Leonard able to sit in there and let Jordan Moore just clear that defense and pick up another first down. They can get a first down here inside the 5 at about the 3-yard line, but it's 1st and 10. Looking to score again.
First catch for Moore. He's got 21 on the season. Leading receiver for the Blue Devils. Leonard still has it. Throws on the run at the 10. Trying to turn that corner. Dalmolin. And he's stopped cold near the 7-yard line. Darius Bratton, the graduate student from Roanoke, Virginia, and 6 yards on the play.
Put him on the run. You know, in the options, the run-pass options, and this, of course, becomes an option as well. If there's nobody there to contain, and Virginia does a good job on Leonard, who can hurt you with his feet, but then they forget to guard the receiver out of the from his tight end spot. Nice job by Leonard to hit the brakes and deliver another strike.
Second down just beyond the 7-yard line of Virginia for the Blue Devils and Leonard. Waters trying to work that right side inside the 5-yard line. First down yardage. Four yards for Waters, James.
You know, and one thing that stands out here with this Duke team is the ability to capitalize. Complimentary football for Mike Elko's football team. You block a punt, hey, you know, it doesn't mean much if you get out there and go 3 and out. You force a turnover here on special teams, and here they are knocking on the door looking to make it 21-0. Capitalize points off of turnovers and keep that momentum on your side.
Couple of touchdowns in the red zone tonight. Trying to finish off the drive, spinning down close to the 2. Jordan Waters. Donovan Johnson on the stop.
Nice job of the penetration there by the defense, but able to spin and get a little bit there. And you see the hair on Pankow, the green dreads there coming out of the back of that helmet. You know, you got the grass on the front of the helmet for Riley Leonard. It looks like a bush on the back of the helmet for Eli Pankow. I like that.
Blue Devils threaten once again. Over the top and into the end zone. Jordan Waters airborne from a yard away for the Blue Devils.
Waters going airborne, and a great job by his guys up front behind the big center, Jacob Monk, the guards, Maurice McIntyre and Chance Lytle. And they did their job. Number 7 going up and not coming down until he hits the paint.
3 straight touchdowns on 3 straight drives.
How high is the water, mama? 5 feet high and rising.
The first rushing touchdown of the season for Jordan Waters.
Well, Waters is really good from his running back position as a receiver, and showing you the athleticism right here when he gets the ball just from a straight handoff, and the leaping ability from Riley Leonard, who, by the way, was a high jumper in high school, long jumper as well. But Waters taking it right there and taking it into the end zone. There you see the first half possessions for these Blue Devils. And it started off with the punt, but it's been all kinds of fun for the guys right there on the offensive side ever since then. One aided by two 15-yard penalties, one of those touchdown drives, and one aided by another 15-yarder, and a lot of it aided by other sloppiness as well. Turnovers on special teams for Virginia, and a punt block on special teams by Duke. They've got to clean things up here. Trying to chip away at that 21-point lead before they go into the locker room at halftime. It was Virginia that did win the toss, by the way, and deferred, so they will get the ball to start the second half. But first things first, they got to get something good going their way. And it sure would feel good to start with a nice drive by Brennan Armstrong in this offense here with 10:25 left in the first half.
Now Armstrong has struggled, James, 5 of 9 at 25 yards passing. This will be over the head of Mike Hollins, no return. We'll step aside. Second quarter, 10:25 to go. 21-0. Duke leads Virginia.
And CPI Security. Home security that protects what matters most.
Back in Durham, 21-0.
Look at that uni right there, Tom.
Man.
All the autographs as well. Some Mardi Gras beads. It's like Mardi Gras here.
Yeah, well, we have a sec. How about our Toyota Impact Players, brought to you by your local Toyota dealers?
Well, how about it? And it's good to see number 4 right there in the middle of your screen, back out there. He was injured, left the game earlier. He's had a tough time being out there, but they need him in a big way. They need him on third downs. Brennan Armstrong leans on him quite a bit, and Jalen Stinson. If it's to be a big game for this defense, it all goes through him. Best player over there, fumble recovery in the first quarter against KU last week. Second on the team in tackles, the junior from Opelika, Alabama.
So Waters just took it in from 2 yards out for his 4th rushing touchdown of the season to make it 21-0 Duke. 10:25 to go in the second quarter. Tom Wormy, James Bates, Lindsey Rowley, and our outstanding ACC College Football production crew with you. Jones. Hayward on the tackle, 2 yards on the play.
Wow. Watch 42, Shaka Hayward. Billy Kemp attempts to block him, and he just throws him to the side. Watch, he just throws him out of there. Get out of my way. Does a great job coming upfield, coming under control, and an open field tackle with that outside shoulder free. So if that back cuts back, he's cutting back into all of his buddies and not getting outside and getting that corner turn. Nice job.
Armstrong all day. Up there the 40 off the fingertips of Keaton Thompson. Incomplete for Virginia. Thompson, who had 8 catches for 55 yards and a rushing TD in that game last Friday at Syracuse. Third down.
Tom, way too many drops. This is a tough one. Anxious to see this replay. Yeah, it's off the mark, but come on, that is a catch all day long last year for the senior from New Orleans, Keaton Thompson. But help him out. Brennan Armstrong just needs a little bit of help. And everything is like hitting is contagious in baseball. Unfortunately, so it drops.
3 for 5 on third down. Improvising Armstrong. He's got it past the 35-yard line. He made the play, and Hayward took him down. First down after an 11-yard run.
Yeah, he's just mudding out there. He knows he's in trouble. He's going to tuck it and go. One last look, see if he can do any damage down the field, and Shaka Hayward's there to drop him. But a little too late. They'll move those chains.
Tempo from Armstrong. A dart at the 45-yard line. Brandon Mish for 7 yards.
On the reception, and Dillon.
Huge drive right here for Virginia. There's another look at Mish. And it shows you, too, I mean, decent coverage right there. Next to him is the defender. So that ball's got to be thrown hard. And this one, careful, make sure it wasn't behind. It's an incomplete pass. And, again, off the mark. This is just, I mean, shrug your shoulders. I mean, Virginia fans, this wasn't supposed to be the problem here this year. All of these players they had back, led by that young man right there, you knew it was going to be fun to watch. The big question was on the defensive side of the ball. They've been playing pretty hard here this year, and the offense is still yet to find their rhythm. Here's a third down and 3.
Just converted a third down a moment ago on the scramble by Armstrong. He's back to pass this time. Up near midfield, that ball pops out. Incomplete pass. Incomplete prior to the jarring hit separating Wicks from the football.
I mean, and here's Wicks. I mean, like, Wicks has been quiet. And that was close. You know, he makes a football move, but did he ever have complete control? That's a good call because that ball's still a little bit loose. He never had it secured. Nice job defensively to jar it loose.
Darius Joyner on the hit. Down near the 10. Calhoun, and the contact was early. Flag is out after a 45-yard punt from Sparks.
Tom, this is what I mean by pressing. Just trying a little bit too hard. Just they want to win. They want to get back on track so bad. But when you've got leaders that are doing things like this, it's just they just need to take a deep breath and calm back down and play the football that they've played for years. And unfortunately, it's just kind of snowballing on them, all of these mistakes in this sloppy play. It was Paris Jones that was there. Looked like a little bit too early. I feel for you, big man. That's, you know, he and his coaches are coaching their tails off and trying to find a way to turn some of these plays around.
During the kick, holding, return team. Kick catch interference, kicking team, those penalties we all set. Replay, 4th down.
All right, so here's where you got to be careful, Virginia. You just had all those guys go full speed down there covering that punt. Remind them here, hey, let's not take this play off because you got a returner that can burn you. You gassed a little bit, kind of like a sudden change on defense. You got to run back out there and do the same thing once again. Don't take this play off. We've already seen Calhoun in the end zone running the football tonight.
Duke has one block punt tonight. That one away cleanly by Sparks. Checks up near the 5, rolls up near the 10, and then Virginia falls on it. The punt is 45 yards. Playing in the second quarter in Durham, and it's all Riley Leonard and Duke.
Sometimes you'll get it. Sometimes you won't. Sometimes you'll wind up head over heels. You gotta trust your gut. As long as you keep going, it's all good. Because it's all one big glorious ride. And being a passenger is not an option. Wrangler, for the ride of life.
21-0. Duke in the lead in the second quarter as we look at more impact players. James, brought to you by your local Toyota dealers.
Yeah, the man with that mean green hanging out from under his hat right there. Eli Pankel, nice 49-yard catch early in the game at Kansas last week. Big playmaker on the outside. They'll need him. And coming from the outside on defense, Chico Bennett. He's been in the backfield a lot as of late. 2 sacks against Syracuse. 4 tackles, tackle for a loss, a fumble recovery. He's part of that athleticism that has to get into the backfield and in the face of Leonard throughout the night.
Bennett leads the team this season with 4 total sacks. Coleman on the carry. So you've got 2 rushing touchdowns and a passing TD for Duke in this first half. Coleman got 4 yards. Leonard took it in. A rushing TD from 2 yards away. Waters over the top from a yard away. And the TD pass of 19 yards to Calhoun in the first quarter for Leonard. Handoff this time, Coleman.
Coleman once again makes the outside.
Quick direction change, good for a first down.
And Tom, earlier I was complimenting Shaka Hayward on a good job keeping that outside shoulder free, and that's exactly what doesn't happen from Lex Long here. He gets himself sucked inside, and Coleman able to get outside and get that corner turned. You've got to come with outside in leverage. If you're on the edge of that defense, all of your help is coming from back here in the middle of the screen.
Virginia had the run well diagnosed. Coleman swallowed up just the yard.
Duke has done a good job of holding on to the football. Boy, wouldn't This defense loved to force a turnover right here and help their offense out. Get that football back. Mike Elko has made turnovers a big priority. And throughout camp, all coaches talk about it. But he insists that the penalties that they have, the punishments during 2 days of spring training, if you turn the ball over.
Leonard out of the pocket. Made a move at the 30. First down yardage past the 35. Sanker made the tackle, not before a first down, and a gain of 11 for Riley Leonard, the poised sophomore.
Yeah, that's a good word from him. Just poised, just cool and calm. Look at the patience as he's using his back Coleman a little bit as a lead blocker, and then he turns it on. Little kind of stop and start, but very cool and calm as he kind of winds his way through the defense once again and moves those chains.
Off-balance throw near the sideline. Jontavis Robertson got 3 yards. First catch of the night for number 1, the junior from Gray, Georgia.
Nice job by Long that time to come up, break down, make a nice open field tackle. One of the toughest things to do out here on this football field, or really in all of sports. You've got those speedsters on the outside when they get their shoulders turned, but a nice job by the sophomore, Lex Long, come under control and drop it.
Duke won its first 3 games of the season, including September 10th at Northwestern. Play fake, incomplete pass. The win against the Wildcats, 31-23. A loss at Kansas last week, 3-1 of the season. Hunter Stewart providing pressure for the Cavaliers.
Yeah, Duke getting away with a little bit of hold on Butler there on the edge. And now that one, the pressure was there so fast he was unable to get it to Hagans. His intended target, lucky that it fell incomplete. So here's a big 3rd down now. And Long, let's see what this athletic front for Virginia, if they can put some pressure on Leonard in a passing situation.
3 receivers left. Leonard looking that way to midfield. It's caught. Calhoun onto the Virginia side of the 50, 13 yards, and a first down for Duke.
Brzezinski decides to bring 4, and they're handled nicely. They run a little game in there and a little late pressure, but nothing to get under the skin of Riley Leonard, able to sit in there and let his receiver come free to move those chains. A great first half so far for number 13.
83 yards passing for Leonard. Nick Jackson not in there defensively. 11 of 14, 12 of 15. Move made on the edge by Harding Jr. And down to the 42. Remember, Jackson is not in there for Virginia. Targeting foul last Friday against Syracuse and sitting out this first half.
Deshaun Perry was the replacement for Jackson, but also a mix of James Jackson, Hunter Stewart, who we've seen in there. They'll be glad to get their leader of this defense back out there in the second half, but they've got 4:15 and a 2nd down and 5 to defend right now. Try to keep them out of the end zone, keep points off the board, keep it at 21 at least.
Leonard, sturdy pocket, unloads it incomplete, too high. Looking for his buddy Jordan Moore, the sophomore. Jalen Baker in coverage, Virginia. Coach Elko, who spent the last 4 years as the defensive coordinator at Texas A&M, and that included 4 bowl games. Didn't coach in the 21 Gator Bowl. Taking over the program here at Duke from David Cutcliffe, who spent 14 years here in Durham.
Yeah, how about that? With Coach Cutt being gone, you don't see any more of that Tennessee orange on the Duke sidelines. That's a good thing. Fred Skip, huh?
10th play of the drive, James. Leonard gets rid of it. Too high for Jordan Moore.
Yeah, Elko, ACC football fans will remember him from his years there as Dave Clawson's defensive coordinator. Coached some pretty good defenses at Wake Forest. And in between that stop and the A&M stop, he was at Notre Dame. And his punting unit out there now to punt it away.
Porter Wilson. Fair catch signaled and made. Near the 17 by Ethan Davies. The punt was 26 yards. Cavs had the ball late in the second quarter from Durham. Couple of rushing TDs, one through the air for Mike Elko and the Blue Devils to build the 21-0 lead here in the second, James.
Yeah, defensive-minded head coach, and there's all the stops along the way. Bowling Green, there he was at Wake Forest, we told you, with Brian Kelly for 1 year at Notre Dame before spending 4 years with Jimbo Fisher. Interesting thing about all the head coaches that he's coached under, they were all offensive guys, and had a nice discussion with him and his offensive coordinator, Kevin Johns, both, who's been in the last 3 seasons. Kevin Johns at Memphis before coming over, and just how much it helps to have a head coach that sees it through a different lens, sees it through the defensive side. Like, well, hey, you're trying to do this, but as a defensive coordinator, that doesn't really work. That's not the way they're thinking. So able to bounce a lot of things off of one another. And that's one thing that Mike Elko said he always appreciated, was to have that offensive set of eyes in the room from the head coach.
But Elko's defense has limited the Virginia offense, and Brennan Armstrong, he is a hearty star to watch. Last year, what he did in this game led him to the 48-0 win. This year, James, it's a different story.
Yeah, he's done a little bit of work on the ground. He's 6 of 13 here tonight for 32 yards, and he is a star. And when he's on his game, he's a superstar, one of the best around, one of the most fun to watch. And I hurt for him, any of these guys that are fierce competitors like him.
He threw for 4,500 yards last season to lead the ACC as Thompson goes out of bounds. Hayward with the escort for Duke.
Find a way to get the ball. I think they'll move the chains here. Is it a first down? First down, they're calling it. They just haven't moved the chains yet. But, Keaton Thompson has had a couple drops, but get it to him on jet sweeps. He's too good of an athlete not to take advantage. Got to find a way, make it work one way or another with these athletes you got out there.
That previous play, James, was the first play of the game for 10 or more yards for Virginia. And this is a team that did not score in the first half last Friday as well in that close loss to Syracuse, 22-20.
Yeah, defense that helped to keep them in it, forced a lot of field goals, got tight down in the red zone. Nice play on that last play, even with the 6-yard gain. Joshua Pickett, I've talked a couple times about those defenders, making it a sense of urgency, making it a point to get that outside shoulder free. Joshua Pickett did an excellent job of fighting to get outside right there, make sure it wasn't an even bigger play.
Armstrong, knocked to the turf, incomplete. Jamian Franklin.
Transfer from Notre Dame. Again, separate. You see him separate with those hands, push that offensive lineman. If you're up there chest bumping and you've got chest to chest, there's no way you can lift your hands up above your head. But if you separate, use good hands, and then again, mirror technique. I'm not going to make it to the quarterback, so I'm going to watch that quarterback and I'm going to get up and get high. When that ball comes through, he bats it down, forces a 3rd down and 4.
Second batted ball of the game by Duke for 7 on 3rd down for Virginia. Armstrong with time, delivers near the 40 and a first down. Sackett Wood, 44 in orange and blue.
This is what Brennan Armstrong needs. He needs his buddies out there to help him out a little bit. This ball is thrown hard and a little bit behind Wood, but he finds the way to pull it down.
9 yards on the previous play. This time it's Thompson. Chandler Rivers forcing Thompson out of bounds. They got 6 on that one.
Plenty of time for this offense. Just under 2:30. Got to get something going here. They could double up on the score perhaps if they could find a way to get it down there, and then they'll receive the kickoff to open the second half.
Armstrong, extended surveillance of the landscape, incomplete to Thompson. Second drop for the Cavalier receivers.
Just too many drops, and they work. Here's Thompson working back. His quarterback, it's taking too long. He's not even really in trouble because the offensive line's taking care of him. And one play after we're patting Sackett Wood on the back for going and getting the football. One right into the hands of Thompson is dropped. It's just in his head right now.
Armstrong diving for the 40-yard line. Living dangerously up the middle of the field as Darius Joyner took him down. 9 yards and a first down for Virginia.
No substitutions, quick over that ball, and a good quick snap, nice tempo here.
At the 30 complete. Turning at the 20, Wicks. And he's into the red zone. Hayward made the tackle.
Excellent job. You've got them gassed and on their heels, which hasn't been the case very much here tonight. Go out to your star player outside on Tavion Wicks. And a little bit kind of odd getting up there. See the grimace on his face. Hopefully Wicks is okay. And over the ball again. And hey, once again, Shaka Hayward turning and burning, going down the field and making that tackle. That's a special defensive play there.
Going for the end zone. Lavelle Davis was twisting around trying to adjust, and a flag is out. Young was defending for Duke.
Defense, number 5. First down.
You know, if that's Billy Kemp, I might say that's an uncatchable ball. Nothing against Billy Kemp, but he's 5'9". You know, and just wrapped around. That's an easy call, but that ball's thrown well out of bounds. But the target that was intended, Lavelle Davis, is 6'7", so you never know with a body as long as that. Now you've got him set up right on the goal line.
Surprisingly, James Armstrong has only thrown for 3 touchdowns this season, and 2 of them to Lavelle Davis Jr.
You got to account for the wheels of Armstrong in this situation.
And they did. Taken down in the backfield camp. Dillon shooting through and making the play for Duke, and it's a loss of 8. Virginia timeout.
30 seconds.
There's penetration, and there's penetration right up the middle, and nobody laid a hand on 35. Great job avoiding that blocker. You see the big pulling offensive lineman? If you're going to come underneath, you better make that tackle. It's ideally, you know, the way it all fits together, you go meet that puller right there while he's still in the backfield. You got that outside shoulder free. But hey, when you're a football player and you know you can make it, you can freelance a little bit, but you better flatten and go make it. But he was so quick to olay him. He went back there and dropped a good runner before he could get his shoulders turned, and drops him for a loss at that.
And while we have a moment, a message from Wrangler.
It's in all of us, the courage to go all in. Wrangler, for the ride of life.
1:21 to go in the second quarter. Virginia trying to put up some points. Late stages of the second quarter, 10th play of the drive. Just a moment ago, Armstrong dropped for an 8-yard loss by Cam Dillon. Virginia trying to snap a 4-game road losing streak. Their last road win last season at Louisville, also in early October. 34-33 in a thriller.
Lavelle Davis lined up at the bottom of your screen, 6'7". In this red zone, you better believe guys are going to look for the big target like that. They'll go the other way.
Second and goal, diving for the pylon, and touchdown! Paris Jones, what an effort in that front left corner. That's 11 yards on the play. Armstrong to Jones.
Huge play call and a huge touchdown for this Virginia football team. You get a feeling that if they would have had to have settled for 3 points right there, it wouldn't have been pretty in that halftime locker room. They needed to find a way to get it into the end zone even after the 8-yard loss. And there you go.
Paris Jones for Virginia. Second receiving TD. And the fourth thrown by Armstrong, James.
And a nice job by Paris Jones to extend. That ball goes across the plane and hitting the pylon. Guy Ferris-Jones, who had a great camp. It was really Mike Holland's job they thought maybe going in, but too good of a camp to deny the senior from Alexandria, Virginia. And Brennan Armstrong feeling a little bit better, but still looking up at that scoreboard and 14 points down here on the road.
A 10-play drive late in the second quarter for Virginia to get on the scoreboard. And remember, last Friday on the road at Syracuse, they actually came back to take the lead, James, 20-19 late in the fourth quarter against the Orange. Stinson. Stinson gets bottled up and driven back near the 15. And they'll mark him at the 14-yard line. 1:03 to go in the quarter. 14 yards on the return from Stinson.
Great job on the cover team. Nowhere to go for Stinson. First wave, second wave, they're all over him, and that just shows you the kind of energy. And when that offense starts to click a little bit of excitement there getting into the end zone, how the other units feed off of it. Now let's see if the defense can pin their ears back as well. They do. Right off the snap, the pressure. You got bodies, the leverage, the pad level, and a great job by both Faumui and Smiley. Immediately, you got Smiley right there taking on two guys and driving them back, and Faumui dropping them as well. And so all three phases feeding off of one another right now, and Virginia will use a timeout. They wasted one early in the game with the personnel problem on the punt team, only to have it blocked on the next snap. So one short as they try to at least force Duke to punt if they don't do anything here on these next two snaps.
And now a message from Works Nitro.
Meet Works Nitro. Powerful tools for any project with gas-like power without the gas. Fueled by PowerShare batteries to give you the power to outperform.
To take a few of those chainsaws with me back down to Florida. Help out the neighbors a little bit. Those big oak trees coming down.
Second and long, Blue Devils. Waters, who has a touchdown run in the game of 1 yard in this quarter, gets 4.
We'll stop that clock again. I know, and if you remember just how fired up, and not in a good way, Tony Elliott was when they had to burn that timeout. Here's why. It's a wasted opportunity, because you got to think Duke maybe going to try to run it right here again, and you could kill that clock and give yourself. When you got a guy like Brennan Armstrong who's feeling it a little bit right now, you never know what he can do. You still have a little bit of time, but at the very least, you want to force that punt. A lot of things can go wrong when you have that special teams unit out there. The punt unit, and Virginia knows that well because they've already had a punt of their own blocked here tonight.
So Virginia's won 7 in a row in the series, James, as they meet for the 74th time. Duke has lost 17 of its last 18 ACC games in front here late in the second quarter, 21-7. Coleman. A wrestling match across the 20-yard line. Physical play.
He's carrying that pile. 205 pounds. Jalen Coleman, little help from his offensive line cohorts. But look at him. Look at him there to open it up for him, and then just churning just the legs of Coleman. It actually got a little interesting. Still about 3 or 4 yards shy. Well, they'll call it 2 of that marker, but no timeouts left for Virginia. All 3 for Elko. Let's see if he lets it run down and Uses one of them before he punts it away.
First timeout. 30 seconds.
Timeout for Duke, James, and while we have a second, we want to remind you that next week, another big Saturday in college football. It's week 6. It's a doubleheader dose of ACC football. 4 o'clock, Blue Devils heading to Atlanta to take on the Ramblin' Wreck from Georgia Tech. We'll be down there for that one. You check your local listings for the game and time in your area. And we've also got the Wake Forest team and Deacons. They welcome the Black Knights of Army to Winston-Salem non-conference battle. Buckle up tight, Bakes. Back-to-back session of October football in the ACC as the 2022 season continues.
Buckle up, yo, stuff. Tom Wormy, Georgia Tech on top of Pittsburgh right now. 3-0. Good job getting that one away. Good Puma.
Davies has to let it bounce. That'll run out the clock. That's going to be the last play. 57-yard punt. Porter Wilson. Now some activity post-whistle, post-end of the second quarter before the teams go to their respective locker rooms. Players separated. Virginia with a late touchdown in that first half. Brennan Armstrong to Paris Jones. Riley Leonard had a rushing touchdown, a passing touchdown. Coach Elliott's team with some critical points at the end of that second quarter to get back into this football game. And remember, they trailed Syracuse last Friday, came back in that game against the Orange. They missed a couple of field goals in that one, or the outcome might have been a little different. Lindsay Rowley?
Thanks, Tom. Hey, Coach, Virginia, you're able to keep them off the board until the very end of the half. What do you think of your defense?
Yeah, I thought we had a good half. I thought we made some plays. Obviously, we're going to have a whole nother half. They're going to come really strong in the second half. We've got to be ready for it.
Riley Leonard, 2 touchdowns, 1 through the air, 1 on the ground. What have you thought of your QB?
Yeah, I thought he's managed it well. We're going to have to do a little bit better job in the throw game. I thought we got some runs going. He did a really good job with his feet. We're going to have to throw it a little better.
Thanks, Coach.
Yep, thanks.
Guys.
Lindsay, thank you. An entertaining first half of football in the 74th all-time meeting between Duke and Virginia, with the Blue Devils trying to snap a 7-game losing streak to the Cavaliers. 21-7 is our halftime score from Durham. Our halftime festivities are straight ahead. This is ACC football. And report from Durham. What a first half between these two teams. 21-7 is the lead for Duke, with a late touchdown by the Virginia Cavaliers. And we are joined in our broadcast position by a very special guest, second-year athletic director Nina King here at Duke. Nina, thank you so much for your time. First of all, I want to know what you thought of that first half of play.
Amazing, fun, fantastic.
And the first 3 touchdowns belong to Duke as well. Riley Leonard is a rising star.
Absolutely, absolutely. He's having a great season, and we've seen a lot of good things out of Duke football when we get going early.
Well, speaking of rising stars, the head man down there on the sidelines, a new rising star, our first-year head coach, but not just with football, basketball as well. So exciting times here in Durham.
For sure, for sure. Had a busy first year in the chair, but we're really excited about the new era under Coach Elko's leadership, Coach Shire's leadership. We're off to a good start.
So, Nina, you've been here since 2008, took over last year, second year as the athletic director. I think the progress and the changes that we've seen, and just because we're near these facilities, I'll reference them, but Cameron Indoor Stadium, the improvements made there, and this facility, absolutely incredible. Tell me what you think of the way things have gone for Duke Athletics since you arrived in 08.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we have seen a lot of transformative change since 2008. When I came with my predecessor, Kevin White, we realized, there was a lot of work to be done. And so Kevin really helped build the foundation up to where we are. And I'm just so honored to be able to build on his legacy of what he started relative to facilities and a whole lot more here.
Well, and you're able to not only work all day long on the athletics, but able to go over and teach a class. And are you able to still do that even though you've got all these new duties?
Yeah, I am.
That's wonderful.
Squeeze it in. But yeah, it's really fun. And I co-teach with Kevin White and head over to Fuqua, and we teach a sports business class in both the fall and spring semesters. And it's a great way to kind of get out of the athletics bubble and head over to Fuqua and engage with students.
Nina, as we wrap up, tell me about the future of Duke Athletics.
Yeah, I mean, it's hot. It's great. We are really enjoying being a member of the ACC and really planning for long-term stability with our conference under Commissioner Jim Phillips' leadership. And, we're building a lot of great things here. 27 sports, 775 student athletes. We're having a lot of fun.
Nina, you're very busy. We'll let you get back to work.
Thanks. Great to see you guys.
Nina King, the second-year athletic director here at Duke, kind enough to join us with her team up 21-7. This is the Toyota Halftime Report.
Driven, Mike Elko is presented by your local Toyota dealers. The all-new 2022 Toyota Tundra TRD Pro. Visit your local Toyota dealers today. Toyota, let's go places.
Chevy Silverado. It's got the power you want and the capability you need to do the job so you can get to the important work. Find new moments, find new roads. Get a $500 cash allowance on all 2022 Silverado pickups with a 2.7-liter turbo engine. Plus, now during truck season, get a $1,000 accessory allowance toward a new Chevy truck with accessories. Georgia drives Chevy. Find new roads.
There's a place that's surprisingly close by and refreshingly different. Here, excitement is a team sport where you can play with hearts, spades, and diamonds, or a set of your own clubs. Plan your adventure today to rekindle your sense of wonder. Mississippi. Wanderers welcome.
In a word, it's chaos. You'll have to see it to believe it. Whoever said that must have been talking about Talladega. It's a place where chaos mixes with speed, where a town turns into a city, and a weekend becomes a lifetime of memories. It's a tradition like no other. What a wild finish. At a track like no other. And after it's all over, you still don't believe it ever happened.
The winner at Talladega.
Get your tickets now at TalladegaSuperspeedway.com.
Face the Marlins Monday at 6 on Valley Sports South.
Back on the Toyota Halftime Report from Wallace Wade Stadium, and the Blue Devils, who jumped out to a 21-0 lead 21-7. Tom and James from our broadcast position. And James, those were some critical points at the end of the second quarter for Virginia on that 83-yard drive to close out the quarter.
That mighty momentum swing, and it was, there was a big butt chew in there in the middle of all that by Tony Elliott. And it got him straight a little bit, but not before some more damage was done. Damage started early. Calhoun with the reception from Riley Leonard. Nicely thrown ball, and it's 7-0 to start off the scoring for the Duke Blue Devils. Then a punt blocked by Smith, and Duke is back in business. They'll turn that punt block into another touchdown drive that ends up near the goal line, and Riley Leonard, after being stuffed on the initial surge, finds his way to the paint on a touchdown run, making it 14-0. Ensuing kickoff. Starling trying to get something going a little bit too much. He drops it and is recovered by Terry Moore. There's Tony Elliott talking to his entire bench, trying to get them fired up. They were unable to stop Duke on the next series and turning turnover into points. It's 21-0 after that Waters leap. But like you mentioned, Tom, right before halftime, Brennan Armstrong to Paris Jones, and they do get that zero off the scoreboard, and they will receive the opening kickoff to start this second half. Down at the bottom of this Bear first half stats, our first half stats brought to you by Bear here tonight. The penalties, 3 penalties, 42, very costly to 8 on those drives. But look at the third downs, a lot better for the Virginia Cavaliers. Des Kitchens, the offensive coordinator, has been able to find a way to keep his offense on the field, but they've got to clean things up.
And we thank you for watching the Toyota Halftime Report. 21-7, Duke with the lead before we start the third. Down to Lindsey Raleigh moments ago with Tony Elliott.
Thanks, Tom. Coach, I saw you gather your entire sideline between the first and second quarter. What did you have to say to them?
Just quit beating yourselves. I mean, this is 2 weeks in a row. We had 12 penalties last week. We had 4, penalties there, 3 personal fouls, a kick-catch interference. We get a punt block. Our top guys are just not making the play to be successful. And, credit to Duke for doing what they did. But, man, we're beating ourselves.
Well, you did get on the board there at the end of the first half. You get the ball to start the second. So what was the message to the offense to start the third quarter?
The message to the whole team is, man, just decide to win. Quit looking for ways not to win the game. Go make the plays, right? And so it's all about confidence with these guys. They're waiting on somebody else. No, the time is now. You are the guy. It stops here. That was my message to the team.
Thanks, Coach.
All right, you're welcome.
Guys.
James, the time is now.
Yeah, I like it. I like it. It reminds me of, when you watch this team, it reminds me of the Henry Ford quote, whether you think you can or you think you can't, you're right. And, just like some positive thinking and positive momentum and some energy at the end of that first half by scoring last, Armstrong to Paris Jones. And let's see what kind of juice they come out with here to start the third quarter.
Remember, they rolled up 528 yards of total offense in the shutout win last year in Charlottesville. Hollins.
Mike Hollins will bring it out for Virginia to get the second half underway.
Near the 27 or 8. Officially a 27-yard return for Hollins. So Brennan Armstrong finally, James, on that last drive before the end of the half, got a little bit of traction through the air and also running the football.
Yeah, he's been able to tuck it and run pretty much whenever he's wanted here tonight, whenever he's felt it breaking down. There you saw the 8-yard drop going the wrong way when they were down near the goal line. The nice stop by Dillon. This has been an issue here tonight. The ball being batted down. I believe that's the third time here tonight. Jamion Franklin doing a good job. Double teamed and able to separate. You see him bench press those guys off of him. It's a perfect example of how that bench press helps out these big defensive linemen, offensive linemen, able to press those 2 guys off to get those hands free.
Short gain, Jones. Just one. Shaka Hayward, 42 in blue. Jones had the catch, James, for the touchdown.
Sorry, Tom. Yep. Marusi not there, but Shaka Hayward picking up the slack from the linebacker spot for the Blue Devils. Okay, Blue Devil defense. Where are they trying to get? Trying to get up there to 38-yard line. Then where they're going to break those routes off at. Where we are on the football field on 3rd and 9.
5 of 8 on 3rd down. This is Armstrong. Tucks it and gets near the 35. That's going to be short. Needed to get to the 38-yard line. 5 yards on the rush. Darius Joyner, number 1 in blue, on the tackle of Armstrong. 4th down.
Armstrong barely able to sneak out as the pressure came. Good job staying in those rush lanes and not letting them go pick up that first down. And a huge 3-and-out here to start the second half and trying to take back that momentum for the Duke defense. Defensive coordinator Rob Smith, Jess Simpson, the co-defensive coordinator.
That's a fair catch at the 27-yard line. Jalen Calhoun makes it 39 yards on the punt as we go down to Lindsay.
Yeah, Tom Bates, you've been talking a lot about the 1-2 punch and running game that Duke has in Jordan Waters and Jalen Coleman. Earlier this week, I actually spoke with Jordan Waters, and I asked him who's really impressed him to start the season, and with very little hesitation, he said fellow running back Jalen Coleman. Jordan talked to me about how impressed he's been with Jalen's work ethic from the start of preseason, and now he's seeing it pay off. Jordan said that energy and drive is contagious and pushes the team to work harder.
Yeah, Lindsay and coaches admitted that they weren't sure who was going to be the bell cow. It's turned really into a 2-man bell cow.
Leonard steps up and throws. Open man, 40-yard line. First down for Duke. Down Mullen. 13 yards.
Nice protection. Nice pocket presence to just step up, buy a little bit of time, and then throw it. Nice, easy throw to Dal Mullen. Nice and calm. That eye of the storm that we talked about earlier. There, the calm, right in the middle of the hurricane. All kinds of craziness going on around. The young quarterback, cool and calm, steps up and delivers a strike to move those chains.
Third catch for Dalmolin. Jalen Calhoun, tail end of the play, James, had to come to the sideline, shaken up. So 5 in blue is out of the lineup right now. Calhoun's got the touchdown catch tonight from Leonard. Fancy footwork, midfield and more. Angles out of bounds. 14 yards, Riley Leonard.
Well, Tom, the sign of a great running back is great vision and great feel for what's going on in front of you. And that includes anybody carrying the football. And right here on this play, and many times here this year, it's included Riley Leonard. Excellent job. Let him wash it all down in a way to stay on those blocks by the offensive line. Good blocking on the perimeter. And a great job by Riley Leonard to go out the back door to get another first down.
He's also got 44 yards rushing once they leave it. Receiver went down, flags are out. There's a penalty marker thrown. Jordan Moore and Anthony Johnson got tangled up.
Pass interference, defense, number 3. 15-yard penalty, first down.
Remember, this is a secondary without one of their stars, Cypress, not playing with a sickness. Nick Jackson back in the game at the linebacker spot. And here you go, top of your screen is just, the feet getting tangled up. And it's unfortunate for Anthony Johnson. There's Nick Jackson back in the game, but those feet sometimes get tangled up. Sometimes they'll keep that flag in their pockets. It looked pretty harsh right there, but not something that they always mean to do, but first down nonetheless.
5 receivers set, underneath, to the 10, and down at the 7. Jalen Calhoun. Johnson on the tackle, 23 yards.
These Duke receivers have gotten the football in their hands. They've turned and burned, and they've had a lot of help with their partners blocking down the field. Jalen Calhoun doing the damage right here, and a great job not only to secure that catch. How many times do you see guys take off before they have the ball secured? That's 4 catches now for Calhoun, getting it done for this offense.
Leonard hands it off to the goal line, bashing his way just short of the goal line. Coleman, oh, so close for Duke. 6 yards on the run.
Nice job by those guys, the offensive line, getting up to that next level. And good job there staying high by Jalen Baker to keep him out of the end zone. You got to stay high defensively, or they'll fall right into the end zone, so you give them a chance to play another down. Kevin Johns, the offensive coordinator, last 3 seasons, the offensive coordinator at Memphis, calling in the plays right here on 2nd and goal.
Quarterback will keep it. Duke thinks it has a touchdown, and the officials agree. It's a 1-yard plunge. Leonard, 2nd rushing touchdown of the ballgame.
He's stuck with that surge this time, and he's way over that goal line. Great job to win that battle. Goes right behind his center after the snap. Jacob Monk, who had to teach himself how to play that center role after playing guard his entire career. This offseason, a lot of extra time to become a pretty good center. Now they have the long snapper Deckers, who transferred from UMass. A good one in there to snap it away, and the extra point is good. So momentum, where does it belong coming out of the halftime locker room? Well, if it's up to the boys in blue, it's going to stay right there with Duke.
The network of your favorite teams. ACC football is brought to you by Georgia Drive Chevy, Z-Max Micro Lubricant, extend engine life, increase fuel mileage, available at Advanced Auto Parts, and Green Machine, available exclusively online at HomeDepot.com.
So the Blue Devils on the 2nd rushing touchdown by Riley Leonard, who had 2 rushing touchdowns on the season coming into the night. He slams it in from short yardage. And there will not be a return.
Do I get to do my head ball coach now?
Do it up, Bates.
All right, here we go. All right, shoot. Time for our Yellowwood 5-star drive summary. Believe me, if it doesn't have the tag from Yellowwood on it, you don't want it. That's the way Coach Spurrier used to say it when he did the commercials way back in Gainesville, Florida, when he's a Florida Gator. And there's your Yellowwood 5-star drive summary. 5 plays, 72 yards, 224. It took up, and what do you know? Hey, he's got a yellow hat on. The grandson of the head ball coach, Steve Spurrier. That's Gavin Spurrier, who, by the way, just earned a scholarship. Was awarded a scholarship this past summer by Mike Elko. And one of the greatest teammates he's ever been around is the way his head coach describes him. And you could tell by talking to Riley Leonard, he feels the same way.
Another ball knocked to the turf by the Duke D. That's the 4th time tonight. And so Gavin Spurrier, who runs the scout offense. In fact, the coach gave him a choice, right, James?
Yeah. Do you want to, Gavin? Because while he's I believe a business major, a finance major here at Duke, and can do many things in this world, he's got it in his blood, just like his dad, who, by the way, Steve Spurrier Jr., a coach with Mike Leach at Mississippi State, and they had a nice win today, beating Texas A&M 42-24. But he thinks he might want to coach a little bit, and said, hey, you want to be more of a coach or a scout team guy? He said, I want to sling it around and be a scout team guy. There's another one.
Michael Reese had the previous one, and this one's Dwayne Carter. 5 times tonight, batted by the Blue Devils.
It's good coaching along that defensive front. Again, and I've said it quite a few times here tonight, but that's what you do. If you're not going to get to that quarterback, make sure you get involved in the play. And they're coached well, and man, that's just way too many times that ball's hitting the turf. Not going anywhere for UVA.
Armstrong trying to create. Watch out. Collision over the middle. Lavelle Davis was the receiver. Darius Joyner was the defender. Let's just hope both of those guys are okay.
Well, and it looks like they are. And what a great job by Darius Joyner. 10 years ago, that's a big blow-up play. And, in recent years, and right now, if that's the way he goes about it from the safety spot, Darius Joyner cost his team a first down, and he's ejected for this half and the next game. But he avoided it. Great job.
Deep punt by Sparks. Calhoun. The return. Still going. Down the sideline. Forced down near the 40. Jalen Calhoun with a return of over 50 yards for Calhoun on the return. 28-7 Duke. It's week 6. Doubleheader dose of ACC college football at 4 o'clock. It's these Blue Devils going to Atlanta to take on the Ramblin' Wreck from Georgia Tech. Check your local listings for the game and time in your area. Georgia Tech playing Pitt tonight, and then Wake Forest welcomes the Black Knights to Winston-Salem, a non-conference battle with Army, which lost today to Georgia State. Buckle up tight for a back-to-back session of October football in the ACC as 2022 continues. Wake Forest got a win today as the number 22 team in the nation. They beat Wake Forest 31-21. 28-7 Blue Devils. While we have a sec, let's get a message from Green Machine.
With our 62-volt battery-powered blower in your hands, you are a machine. So power the machine with Green Machine. Available online at HomeDepot.com.
Mike Elko's team, 28-7. Trying to go to 4-1 and remain undefeated at home. 2-0 at home so far this season. Long way to go in this one. They have the football. Leonard avoids the pressure. Sidesteps a man and dives for the 35-yard line. We'll mark him at the 34. He got 5. Nick Jackson on the tackle.
Welcome back, Nick Jackson. Missed the first half. Ejected from the Syracuse game. Nice open field tackle, but nice pickup as well. Wheeling and dealing. Riley Leonard picking up 5 yards on first down, and you'll take that all day long. Nothing there? What can you get me on the ground?
By the way, the punt return by Calhoun before we went to break was officially 43 yards, the longest of the season for Duke on a punt return. Quick toss.
Here, Higgins with the catch.
Higgins, 4 yards.
Before being pushed back by Virginia.
Good job by Calhoun and Panko out here as Hagans catches the ball, almost able to spring it because they're both locked down on their defensive backs, but a good job too from the inside. The pursuit, there you see the wave of white hats coming over there to force a 3rd down and short.
3 for 7, 3rd down for Duke. Right into the line for Waters. Didn't need much, but I'm not sure he got it, James.
No.
Had to get inside the 30, and that's not where they're marking the football.
Faumui leading the charge. Over there, the penetration, and he didn't get close. He went backwards about a yard. 4th down and 2. Mike Elko has his offensive unit still out there. Don't jump off sides. Again, don't try to do too much and hurt your team. Number 1, do not give them a freebie by jumping off sides. Be careful with that.
They made their only other attempt on 4th down of the game. Trying to get inside the 30, diving forward. Coleman needed the 29-yard line. And that is enough for the 1st down for Duke.
Excellent job by Finney, the tight end. Harris, the right tackle. Chance Lytle over there. 2 for 2. The Blue Devils on 4th down here in this game, keeping these drives alive. They haven't been great on 3rd downs, but a couple times they've used all 4 downs to move them.
Although Duke has lost 7 in a row in the series, they have the lead here in Durham overall, 18-14. The shutout of a season ago, a distant memory right now for the Blue Devils, and Riley Leonard being pressured, got it away. To the 30-yard line, Hagans.
Paul Akiri, who had a sack, doing a good job. The hands and then turning on the wheels and pressuring the quarterback and able to complete it. Riley Leonard just staying cool there, even with the pressure coming.
It's a loss of 2 on the play for Duke. Leonard down by the goal line, attempted one-handed grab. Eli Panko with the defender all over him, and Anthony Johnson.
Nice job picking up the rushers up front. And a nicely thrown ball, but even better coverage by Anthony Johnson. Had a couple steps on him. Careful with that head, make sure you snap it around, but he does a good job with that, with the far hand to pull down the hand and then goes up to rake it away.
Third down once again for Duke. 3rd and long. 3 of 8. Johnson, quick decision. 25-yard line. Not going to be enough. They needed the 19 as he hit Calhoun and got 6. We're inside of 7 minutes to go and rolling on the clock in the 3rd quarter. Coach Elko trying to get his first ACC win and his first game as a head coach in the conference. And Charlie Ham out on the field for Duke. 6 of 10 so far this season. As long as 38. This is a 43-yard attempt for Ham. Problems with the snap and hold. They lost 8 on the play. Ham never got the chance. He has connected from 47 yards, his career long. Didn't get a chance at this one.
Yeah, Decker's usually the sure thing there at long snapper. The transfer from UMass where he had a really good career, and Duke able to just fall on it. And that's quite a stop there. Finally to stiffen a little bit by this defense of UVA. They did a whole lot of that in the Carrier Dome last weekend, forcing turnover tries, or field goal tries rather, and turnovers.
Jackson Hubbard, the holder, just couldn't handle that snap, and Virginia has the football, and they get 7 on 1st down.
Quickly over that football, a little bit of tempo here now.
First down for Jones up near the 49. 5 yards on the rush, Paris Jones. He and Armstrong responsible for the only touchdown so far for the Wahoos, an 11-yard TD toss late in the second quarter. In fact, it was their final drive of the half. Sidearm sling, 45-yard line. Grant Mish, 6'6", 247, and the senior has it for 7 yards.
Yeah, and that sidearm sling that you speak of, here will be a good look at it. When there's a window for you, isn't it nice to be able to fit it in there? But there you see the big pause and almost a bat down again. Jamion Franklin, who's had a couple, was real close to it.
Third catch for Mish. Back to Jones.
Jones once again.
Just the yard, flag out.
After the play, and you know, it's a good job by these officials to make sure they don't let them get away with too much. There's too much chippiness after.
After the play, personal foul, unnecessary roughness, offense, number 68. 15-yard penalty, results of play. We're done.
Logan Taylor, as Tony Elliott looks on, and the sloppiness and the penalties just continue. For a team trying to dig their way out, find a way to go win one of these games. So hard to win football games, even when you play a pretty crisp and clean brand of football. But when you're turning it over, when you're playing sloppy special teams and just all these penalties. I mean, look where you are now. You're moving things, and now you're all the way backed up, a 3rd down and 18.
6 of 11 in this situation. Armstrong over the middle, complete, first down at the 40. And they will mark Thompson at the 40-yard line, and that'll grease the chains and move him down the field. 19 yards on the connection.
Just when you needed the big man to bail you out. How about this? 18 yards to go. Thompson holds on to this one, almost comes back over the line to gain, but able to reach forward and to move those sticks. What a punch to the gut defensively for Duke when you get them in a situation like that and they can bail out.
Armstrong reloads in between 3 defenders. First down, Virginia, 13 yards as we check in with Lindsay.
Yeah, guys, we see Keaton Thompson, stepping up here big. Brennan Armstrong, certainly a favorite of his to go to. His nickname is Trick Bag, a nickname given to him in high school as a tribute to his athleticism and getting yards after the catch. KT had 8 receptions last week against Syracuse. Now he's caught a pass, well, including tonight, 19 straight games. It's the longest active streak on the team.
And now Hollins trying to complement the passing game. Great numbers, Lindsay. In fact, for Thompson last week, 55 yards receiving, and he had a rushing TD as well last Friday.
Doing a great job here on the ground. Grant Mish, who we've seen him with some big catches here tonight, doing a good job of getting over there as he pulls and seals that edge. And so now they're going through the ground and through the air. And Lindsay, you're right. Too many drops by Keaton Thompson, and they need Trick Bag and all of his tricks every single play if they want to scrap in these games.
Hollins turned back, minimal gain. And we are in the CPI security red zone where Virginia is 1 for 1 with a TD. That came late in the second quarter, 11 yards from Armstrong to Paris Jones. Armstrong's 4th TD pass of the season. Last year he threw 31 TD passes. 4th in the conference and a school record. He looks for the end zone. Over the shoulder, attempted incomplete. Dontavian Wicks.
Wicks had some space over there too. You gotta know where number 3 is at all times. He's been such a fantastic playmaker for this offense over the years. So Duke getting a little bit lucky right there. A little bit, a ball thrown a little bit in front of Dontavian Wicks. Nice move. Look at that stick. He takes a step inside and Datron Young freezes. 3rd and 10.
Pressure comes to the goal line. The ball pops out incomplete, and a penalty marker thrown on the play. Thompson was the intended receiver for Virginia. Rivers in coverage.
Pass interference. Defense, number 0. Ball be placed at the spot of the foul. First down.
Put in a tough spot right there, Chandler Rivers, who's 5'10". There he is. And there's the big move, and he's beaten to the inside, which you cannot do. Such an easy throw for a quarterback. And down here low, especially when you've got a big body at 6'5" of Keaton Thompson. So he's really just hanging on for dear life so he can... But first things first, you can't give up that inside lane. You can't fall for that outside shake.
10th play of the drive on 1st and goal. Back corner of the end zone, and it's too far for the intended receiver, Lavelle Davis Jr. And if it's too far for Davis Jr. at 6'7", it's too far for everybody.
Yeah, absolutely. And, a nice little play here. You just had to give enough time for Davis to get some space. And, just a little bit too strong, and part of that is the pressure that was getting to Brennan Armstrong from that defense as they brought the blitz. Making them earn it, that's for sure.
2nd and goal. Toss. Hollins taken down at the 5. Dwayne Carter.
Dwayne Carter from the middle of that defensive line. Look at him get rid of his blocker and then just flatten. Takes a proper angle. Nice football technique. Again, by this defense. Defensive coordinator Rob Smith coaching him up. And nicely played there on just a simple toss sweep.
They lost one. Ball at the 6. Armstrong looks. He's going to be dragged down. Jamian Franklin.
Out in the middle of the field, Tom. If nobody's open early and you have a little bit of protection, sometimes they can fight for you and find some space. There's no room to run around, and then that room disappears completely. Big Jamian Franklin having some fun here, the transfer from Notre Dame. The senior, and they'll force a field goal attempt. Big stand for the Blue Devil D.
34 yards, Will Bettridge. First collegiate attempt is good. He had only been involved in point-after touchdowns where he was 2 for 3, and Bettridge knocks it through. 28-10.
When it comes to your yard, you are a machine programmed to prevail and on a mission to upgrade your lawn game. So it's time to power the machine with Green Machine. Available exclusively online.
And Yellowwood. If it doesn't have this yellow tag, you don't want it.
So Virginia connects on the 34-yard field goal. First attempt by the freshman Will Bettridge. And that closes the gap to 28-10.
Yeah, well,
hey, James, how about this?
The little package for my man 55. Show him some love. Big 310-pound senior defensive lineman getting those hands up when he can't get to the quarterback. But that doesn't mean he's always denied access to the quarterback. Yeah, that's pretty nice shake right there, huh? Jamian Franklin, and if you're a Duke football fan, what you really like about that drive right there is the fact that they made them earn it. You keep them in front of you. You don't give up the big plays. And the more times they snap the football, I don't care who you are, the more opportunities you have for something to go wrong for that offense. Make them drive the field, and they do just that. You eat up a whole lot of clock, and you hold them to a field goal rather than 7.
From the 6, Calhoun with Robertson right near him. Near sideline and a stiff arm at the 30. on Paris Jones. Well, coming up, we've got the fourth, presented by CPI Security, starring James Bates. James, great to see you. I know I stepped aside last week. I know you had a great time at NC State.
Why do I always get top billing in the fourth?
Because it's just me and you, so.
It's a lot of pressure to put on.
You're the only one here.
I'm just the guy sitting next to the guy. All right, I'll do my best. How's that?
You always do. Duke and Virginia trying their best. Riley Leonard's been impressive with a couple of rushing TDs. He's got a TD pass as well. Flips it to Calhoun, going nowhere. Anthony Johnson coming up to make the stop and a loss of 2.
Good job by Johnson to just shuck that would-be blocker. Fly up there. He's got a younger brother, Colby, playing out there on the high plains, Laramie, Wyoming. He's a cornerback for the Wyoming Cowboys. Anthony started his career at Louisville. Good-looking player. He's a senior now.
Calhoun, who got driven back for the loss, was the leading receiver last week at Kansas. 5 catches for 93 yards. Had a touchdown as well against the Jayhawks. Close loss, 35-27. That's how far away Duke was from coming into this game 4-0. 6 yards in the previous play.
And they had a chance. They had a chance late. Oh. Slap hands, slap hands.
That is the end of the third. Stick around. It's the fourth from Durham in just a sec. 28-10.
All right, Duke students, attention. All Duke students, it's time to see who we are pleased who's a student of the game and we're operating with.
This is the fourth, presented by CPI Security. Here in Durham, North Carolina, 74th all-time meeting. Duke and Virginia, 28-10. We're in for some fireworks in the fourth. And here are some of the great performances this week in the ACC.
Yeah, Sam Hartman last week in the loss to Clemson has 6 touchdowns through the air, and this time they get it done on the ground as well. How about the performance by Justice Ellison in the win on the road in Tallahassee over the Noles, and Clemson in a battle right now, not too far from here, leading NC State 20-10 in the third quarter. 37-game home win streak, the longest in the nation. And how about our man, the youngster, the sophomore from Alabama, Riley Leonard, has put on a show through 3 quarters, running the football and throwing it as well.
Starting QB, born in Charleston, South Carolina. And we thank you for watching the fourth, presented by CPI Security. In ACC play for the first time since 2007. Coaching change. Enter Mike Elko. Starting tonight with a 3-1 record, welcoming Virginia, and they've got the lead 28-10 as we start the fourth quarter, and they have possession of the football on third down. Pocket collapses. Leonard past the 40. He's got it.
Brennan Armstrong isn't the only one who can go down head first trying to get those extra couple yards needed to move those chains. Riley Leonard can do the same on a big 3rd down and 7 to start the fourth quarter. Goes diving in there, banging, and popping up with a fresh set of downs as he looks to the sidelines.
He's got 58 yards rushing, including that last carry. A rugged run past the 40 to get the first down for Duke. Through a hole on the left side, Moore. Down the sideline. Jacquez Moore all the way to the end zone for Duke.
always an athletic defensive front, but a very physical front. But winning that battle is the offensive line for Duke. As a defensive player, you can read the big pullers, but you can't trade. You can't give up your body and just go 1-for-1. You got to find a way to beat the blocks, but beating the defense is that offensive line. And opening up a huge lane for Jacquez, and it's off to the races.
59 yards. The longest rush of the season for the Blue Devils. And his first rushing touchdown of the season. 35-10. 59 yards on the run by Jacquez Moore, the sophomore from Live Oak, Florida. First carry of the game, first career touchdown. And it's 35-10 Blue Devils, and that takes us to the drive presented by Defender.
Well, look at the importance of this drive. It started the fourth quarter with a 3rd down and 7 that Leonard was able to convert with his legs. And here you go, first carry, first touchdown. Welcome to Durham, all the way from Live Oak, Florida. Sewanee High School. A lot of greats have come out of there. Most notably, ready for this? Thad Bullard. May not recognize that name, but you do recognize Titus O'Neil, his WWE name. That's one of my teammates back at the University of Florida. Thad Bullard, good defensive player, and now doing great things down in the Tampa area.
Jacquez Moore coming off the top rope, 59 yards away, and taking it to the house on a 4-play drive. Hollins, the deep man for Virginia. Ham to kick it away. 35-10, shortish kick. Hollins. 25, 26-yard line. 19 yards on the return for Hollins.
Well, Tom, Nick Jackson back here in the second half, leading tackler on this team. You watch him right here. He's the near linebacker to you. And that's what I mean about giving up your body. You can't get cut. You can't make plays on the ground, and Nick Jackson knows that. An excellent job by the offensive line, but you have got to protect your feet. Even if you give ground, even if you let them gain 4 yards by giving ground to gain ground, you can't get cut.
Jones, 9 yards.
This one close to getting tipped as well. That time it was Carter outside as well. Wayne Carter.
Up the middle for a first down, close to the 45. Paris Jones.
Jones again, tackle on the day of midfield.
Joshua Pickett on the stop, 11 yards for Jones, the senior from Alexandria, Virginia. A touchdown and a field goal on the board for Virginia. The TD in the second quarter late. And a 34-yard field goal for Will Bettridge on his first career attempt at the collegiate ranks. Armstrong on the run, on target inside the 30. Down to the 20 for Davis.
With the catch.
Harris Jones has had a good job, had a good game on the ground. Here he does an excellent job of picking up the rusher. He's only 5'7", but a whole lot of fight, giving his quarterback a little bit of time to connect down the field.
34 yards is the longest play of the game for Virginia, and the first catch from Davis. Armstrong avoids the pressure, throws it inside the 10. Stretching out Wicks to make the catch. Joyner in coverage.
Nice rhythm here on this drive for the lefty, and finds his target. Wicks doing a good job of extending, going up and high pointing that football, securing it. And there you see that 232 yards down at the bottom of your screen for Sean Tucker today. Against Wagner, yes, but remember he was held to 60 on 21 carries last week by this UVA defense. And here comes the defense, Shaka Hayward and company for Duke. Hayward back there from the giddy up. Watch 42. Nobody there to block him. He's stepping in and eating them up.
Loss of 3 yards on the play. Second and goal, Virginia, and Brennan Armstrong, the senior quarterback. From the 9. 4 receiver set from which to choose. Coming to the near side. Out of bounds near the 5-yard line for Armstrong. 5-yard run. Joyner made sure he went no further.
Now, the clock will continue to run, and maybe not necessarily like a tempo, speed it up, but the one thing needs to be a little bit of a sense of urgency. Don't let that play clock tick down to near zero every time, because you got to score a few touchdowns to get back into this football game. There's a long way to go and a short time to get there. 10:45 left in the fourth quarter, and here this one's going to click down to near 5 seconds before they snap it.
Armstrong looking to the end zone, buying a little time. He'll try to run it. Front left corner. Armstrong finds the end zone. From 5 yards out, nowhere to throw it. Does it with the run game. He did all the legwork.
Yeah, and helping him out, though, in the paint. Keaton Thompson looked like he was held a little bit in the route. Fights through that and then realizes that 5's going to tuck it and go. And he just swallows up the defender, giving an easy trip into the end zone there for Brennan Armstrong.
16th career rushing TD for Armstrong.
Point after by Will Bedridge is good.
Second rushing TD of the season. Brennan Armstrong gets the job done. 35-17. 30 to go in our fourth quarter. From Wallace Wade Stadium, Tom Wormy, James Bates, Lindsey Rowley on the sidelines, and our outstanding ACC football production crew with you. So glad that you're with us this evening. Well, don't forget, we got the double header for you. These Blue Devils will be in Atlanta to take on Georgia Tech. That starts us off at 4 o'clock, and then Wake Forest goes out of conference after their win against Florida State. Previously undefeated Florida State to take on Army. That's at 7:30. Check your local listings for the game and time in your area as college football in the ACC rolls on in Rocktober 2022.
Checking those out-of-town scores. Georgia Tech up 9-7. 4:50 left in the third against Pittsburgh. Jeff Collins go earlier this week, and athletic director as well, rallying a little bit up there against Narduzzi's team.
Brett Key, the interim head coach for Georgia Tech. Stinson, solid return of 28 yards. What a night for the sophomore quarterback, Riley Leonard. He's accounted for 3 touchdowns, 2 rushing and 1 through the air. He is our Max Performance, brought to you by Z-Max, available at Advance Auto Parts.
Looks like Howdy Doody in that picture right there, doesn't he?
He came into our meeting yesterday with a bounce.
Yeah, he did.
With a smile and great comments to you, me, and Lindsay, and our producer, Brian Woodrum.
And he's playing with that same calm coolness that we saw yesterday, and he's getting it done. But 10:25 left to go in the fourth quarter. Duke has the ball when we return.
Chevy Silverado. It's got the power you want and the capability you need to do the job, so you can get to the important work. Find new moments, find new roads. Get a $500 cash allowance on all 2022 Silverado pickups with a 2.7-liter turbo engine. Plus, now during truck season, get a $1,000 accessory allowance toward a new Chevy truck with accessories. Find new roads at your...
This game summary brought to you by Green Machine, with the Blue Devils ahead 35-17.
Well, that's more like it. Virginia on third downs, 8 of 14 after coming off the week 3 of 12 against Syracuse, just 1 of 13 against early in the year against Illinois. But you don't see the turnovers. 1 turnover for Virginia, 0 for Duke, who leads the ACC in turnover margin. A year ago, the Duke Blue Devils were last in the league in turnover margin, with coming into tonight plus 1.5, leading the ACC, and they're winning the turnover battle right here. Virginia, can you find a way to shake that up a little bit, help your offense out, and force a big turnover here on this series?
Virginia had 3 forced fumbles and an interception against Syracuse. First turnovers of the season for the Orange. The rush on first down. Coleman takes it for 9 yards. Sanker on the tackle. Deshaun Perry went down on a previous play, and he's being evaluated on that Virginia sideline for the moment.
These first down pickups, it really makes it easy for this play call. I mean, you've got a second down and short. Not a great spot to be in, calling that defensive play. Maybe see how Duke now is letting this clock run down. Way down in that play clock. Milking it.
Second and short. Coleman stumbles forward. That's a first down. Clary on the tackle, 7 yards. So now Coleman, James, has 15 carries for 76 yards to lead the way for Duke. Now Moore had that 1 carry, and he went 59 yards for a touchdown. A couple of rushing TDs for Leonard as well.
Waters as well going up top. We saw him go airborne for a touchdown earlier. Wisely, Riley Leonard in the offense. Again, letting this play clock go all the way down before snapping it. And Virginia's got to find a way to stop it.
Duke is a rushing attack that leads the conference, averaging almost 6 yards per carry. Bulldozer City, midfield Coleman ran into Sanker in 6 yards.
There's got to be more resistance right there in that first wave. The Duke offensive line, again, winning the battles up front there, just as we saw on that Moore touchdown run. And, you know, first down, you gain 6. Second down and 4. You know, forget the turnover right now. Just find a way to shut it down and force them into a third down. Try to get them off of the football field. Times are wasted.
Coleman now with 92 yards rushing. That is a career high for Jalen Coleman, the junior from Matthews, North Carolina.
There you go. Nick Jackson, Tom, coming up there and mucking things up a little bit, stuffing that puller in the backfield.
Personal foul, hands to the face, defense, number 10, 15-yard penalty, first down.
On Big Ben smiling. His personal foul penalties just crushed him in the first half. Rear their ugly head here one more time in the second.
All down to the 32. Riley Leonard, 18 of 24 through the air in the throw game, 129 yards and a touchdown pass. Back to Jalen Calhoun in the first quarter of 19 yards. Leonard's also rushed it 9 times for a couple of TDs and 59 yards on the ground for the sophomore quarterback. Soft middle. Jarquez Moore. What happened there? He only got 6 yards, James.
Well, this is impressive, Tom. I mean, this is a team in Virginia. They've got to find a way to stop it, but they can't stop the bleeding at all because of the offensive line just dominating here on this drive deep into the fourth quarter when they need it the most, digging down and look like they're in very good shape, strong and physical, and winning those battles up front. Not sure what's going on over there with the play calling. Little giddy up.
It's
Gavin Spurrier and friends.
Like Bates in pregame getting ready for the broadcast. 234 yards rushing. That's a team for Duke, and they'll add a little bit more. That's 4 yards on that play for Moore. And James, Virginia coming into the game, they were 7th in the conference in rush D, allowing just 133 yards per game on the ground to the opposition.
Yeah, against Syracuse, they did a great job. Just 75 yards given up to a very good rushing football team. 2 times they've held teams under 100 yards. And they're having a tough time stopping anything there in the fourth quarter against Duke.
On 3rd and 2. Down to the 21 for Coleman. That should be a first down. 3-yard pickup. And they'll move the chains, stop the clock momentarily, but the clock is the friend of the Blue Devils, and Coleman shaken up, headed to the near sideline.
Straight ahead there, you see him going helmet to helmet, which big collision right there in the middle, but looked like it was his maybe lower leg that was bothering him a little bit. So into the game comes Jordan Waters.
Ball came out the end of the play. Waters had been stopped. Loss of 2. So they're keeping an eye on Coleman, who's had a career night. 95 yards on 18 carries, and he's averaging over 5 yards per carry. Career highs in carries and yards. Right now, the concern for his health as he's on that Duke sideline. With his teammates up 35-17, 2nd and long. Heavy on the ground game emphasis. Nick Jackson makes a stop, 4 yards on the play. Inside of 4.5 minutes to go in the 4th.
Well, they'll need to make one more right here, and remember the adventure that it was in the 3rd quarter when Duke tried a field goal, and it was a bad snap. Anything can happen here, but play a big, strong 3rd down now. And Duke hasn't been great on converting the 3rd downs. Good job by this Virginia defense, just like last week against Syracuse. Bend a little bit, but not always quite breaking. They got to come up with a big play here on 3rd.
On the road at Georgia Tech next week. 3rd down play. That is not going to be enough. They needed to get near the 11-yard line. Terry Moore, who has a fumble recovery tonight.
On special teams.
So Ham will come in. Didn't get a chance at that last one, James, because of the errant snap. Again, he's 6 of 10 on the season. 33 of 45 in his Duke career. This, 34 yards away for Charlie Ham. The junior from Atlanta, Georgia, is money.
Three-score game with
3-10 after the Charlie Ham field goal from 34 yards away. Time for the Fresh Market. Discover the best in Jalen Coleman tonight.
Wow, how about Jalen Coleman? Hopefully he's okay. Looked like he banged up that leg a little bit, went limping off just moments ago. But before that, averaging almost 5.5 yards a carry. And almost 100 yards had he stayed in, maybe going over that mark. But a great job in keeping him fresh. A couple other good running backs here that we've seen tonight, and Moore and Waters as well.
So the Blue Devils trying to close in on their first win against an ACC opponent, James, since October 10th, 2020 at Syracuse when they won at the Dome 38-24. Coleman being evaluated in the medical tent.
Well, Tom, if you've got the lead and your offense is able to take it when the defense has to find a way to get the football back, take it on an 11-play drive, which was that last one, and eat up 7.5 minutes of the clock, you're doing a pretty good job of starting to turn that tide. And the challenge I would put out there, we'll give you a hall pass tonight, is for these fans to come out and support these guys playing their guts out. It's, you know, the hurricane coming through, but you got a couple home games, one coming up against North Carolina. You can pack this place. It's a beautiful stadium here at Wallace Wade Stadium, and you need to respect the hustle.
Into the end zone as Hollins watches it go.
And respect the hustle on the defense and on the special teams. Guys getting after it. Shaka Hayward leading the charge from his middle linebacker spot. These guys are definitely built tough on the defensive side of the ball here for a defensive-minded head coach, Mike Elko, and their defensive coordinator, Rob Smith. That was our Built Tough, brought to you by the folks at Wrangler, and showing you how tough that defense has been.
13 tackles for Hayward defensively for Duke. That's a complete pass to Thompson.
He's going to help you get
9 yards on the play. For the Blue Devils, you have to go back to 2014, James, mid-October for their last win in the series. It came at home, 20-13. In fact, they won 6 of 7 from 08 to 2014. And remember, for this program, they made it all the way to the ACC Championship game in 2013 under David Cutcliffe, losing to eventual national champion Florida State. That the title game in Charlotte, North Carolina, also the destination this season. Armstrong. Incomplete. Let's take a second for a message from Works Nitro.
Meet Works Nitro. Powerful tools for any project with gas-like power without the gas. Fueled by PowerShare batteries to give you the power to outperform.
Futuristic. That's what that is.
Teams hadn't played here since 2018. A loss 28-14 to Virginia for Duke on their home field. And now we're closing in on 2 minutes remaining as Thompson has another catch. 5th catch for Thompson. He'll go to the sideline. 10 yards at a first down. Right at midfield. We're lucky that the rain subsided. It was relatively significant in the first half. Lindsey Rowley will tell you that. Tapered off, though, for our second half of action. You thought maybe James, Virginia, with those late points in the second quarter and getting the ball to start the second half, might be able to mount a comeback like they did last Friday on the road at Syracuse.
Yeah, but it was a defense that they've leaned on so much to keep them in the game when the offense hasn't been able to click, and they just weren't able to get a stop and weren't able to get a turnover, force a turnover by a team in Duke. It's only coughed it up twice this season. 0 turnovers tonight, and gained one on special teams by forcing the fumble.
Just 1 turnover in the game. Fumble recovered by Duke. They turned that into 7 points. From the pocket. That ball bouncing around. Was it intercepted on the deflection? Yes, it was.
They're fighting each other for it. I wonder if they even know. Surely they.
Well, Brandon Johnson is number 30 on the top there. And then Darius Joyner comes away with the football.
All right, there's our guy Darius. Sat down with him yesterday. Graduate student out of Roanoke, Alabama. That's absolutely an interception. Now that's good right there.
Maybe Brandon Johnson didn't realize that it was a teammate as they struggle. Because Johnson has the other interceptions this season for Duke.
Oh, Darius Joyner, the leading tackler coming in. Who'd they give it to? Who'd they end up giving it to?
We've got it for Joyner.
Okay.
And again, you go back to 2020 for that last ACC win.
Terry Moore, the ball carrier.
And that was on the road at Syracuse, 38-24. They had lost 17 of their last 18. And maybe the Joyner interception seals it with 1:17 to go. Second interception of the season for Duke. fifth one thrown by Armstrong, and a timeout on the field. How about Mike Elko? His team, in all likelihood, James, is going to be 4-1, and he will pick up his first ACC win as a head coach.
Yeah, and it's going to be a fun time right now to be down on those sidelines for the first time in 13 years. As Lindsey Rowley told you earlier, we're used to coaching that defense from up in the booth. Be able to celebrate right now, at the moment, rather than coming down that elevator waiting to get to the locker room. You know, when talked about that team back 13, the Duke team, you know, Mike Elko, the way he sees it, he didn't know Duke prior to that. He first came to the ACC that year when they were coming off that championship run, going to the game. And you know, then you look at it, they've got nice facilities, they're playing good football for the most part, and down a little bit the last couple of years. So he's known Duke to be a pretty good football program ever since he's had his eye on him in the ACC. And proud to be a part of this program, and they certainly are playing their tails off for him right now. A very impressive win here tonight against UVA at home, and they'll have to take it on the road to Atlanta next weekend before coming back to town to host the Tar Heels from Chapel Hill.
244 total yards on the ground on offense for the Blue Devils. And they don't have to snap it again. Biggest margin of victory for Duke over Virginia since 2012 when they beat them 42-17. This one, as the final seconds tick off the clock, will be a 38-17 decision. The Blue Devils go to 4-1. James, if you're Virginia, you drop to 2-3 and 0-2 in conference play after the loss to Syracuse last Friday.
Yeah, about as big of a shocker as you see in the ACC as we near the halfway mark of this season. Maybe not that they've lost a couple, but the fact that they still can't get that offense going like they need to. Some positive momentum offensively. Keaton Thompson getting back into the mix here today. At the defense, they've got to play complementary football, offense and defense and special teams. And more than anything, you got to play clean football if you want to win football games. Nobody knows that like Mike Elko. He's with Lindsey Rowley.
Thanks, guys. Coach, what a way to kick off conference play. To you, what were some difference makers throughout this game on both sides of the ball?
Yeah, I thought the way we controlled the line of scrimmage was really special. That's what we want this program to be about. I thought the offensive line really responded. You know, they battled back, and we got a 7.5-minute drive put together in the fourth quarter. Just really proud of how we blocked them.
Throughout this broadcast, we were talking a lot about your rushing 1-2 punch and Jalen Coleman and Jordan Waters. What'd you think of them?
Yeah, they did great. And then Jaquez Moore jumps in and he pops a run, and Terry Moore gets in. And you know, we're doing a really good job becoming a physical program. We just got to keep it going.
Coach, this is your first ACC win as the head coach with Duke. This one a little special for you?
Yeah, of course. And for where we were last year when we played these guys to where we are right now, just a credit to these kids and this program and how much hard work they put into this thing.
Congratulations.
Thanks.
Guys.
Lindsey, thank you. James, 4 rushing touchdowns in the game, and Coach Elko referencing the Jaquez Moore run of 59 yards in the fourth quarter.
Yeah, and they did it offense, defense, and special teams, forcing 2 turnovers and not turning it over at all tonight.
Don't forget the doubleheader next week, Duke at Georgia Tech. That starts at 4. Check your local listings. And then we've got Army at number 22, Wake Forest at 7:30. Check your local listings for the game and time in your area. The Blue Devils are 4-1 and 3-0 at home with the victory tonight against Virginia. For James Bates, Lindsey Rowley, and our outstanding production crew, I'm Tom Wormy. So long from Durham.
It's Ford SUV.